Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I thought it might be a good chance to do this year's collection update, since it's been about a year since I last did one. And for those waiting for me to do an update of Melbourne with the new terminal that I posted about in the community tab, that will be coming soon. I'm just waiting for one more plane I have on order to come in. So hopefully in the next few weeks that will come out, probably December. But yeah, we'll move on to the collection. So starting up at the back here with my Air New Zealand planes, we've starting off with a 777-300ER from Jetwings in the All Blacks colours, and then three regular livery Air New Zealand planes. We've got an A320neo by Jetwings, an ATR-72 by Jetwings, and a A321neo by Phoenix Models. And back here we've got two Emirates planes, an A380 by Gemini Jets in the old scheme, and in the new livery we've got a 777-300ER by Gemini. Moving on to the rest of the Middle Eastern carriers I have, we've got this Qatar Airways 777-300ER with the 25th anniversary sticker there. And then moving forward, we've got this Etihad 7879, and both of those two models are by NG. And then also by NG at the front here, we've got this Batik Air 737 MAX 8. This one's got white winglets. I know others in this livery have the winglets coloured like the tail. NG also did a release of that, I think. But Batik Air Malaysia's fleet is a bit of a mess in terms of liveries. There's a few different different ones going around. Moving on to my Vietnamese planes, this is a Vietnam Airlines 787-10 in the regular colours, and this is a Vietnam Airlines A350-900 in the SkyTeam colours. These are both by Gemini Jets. Moving on, we have a Thai Airways A350-900 by Aviation 400. We've got another Aviation 400 A350, this time a Cathay Airways A350-1000. And moving on to the Chinese carriers, or mainland Chinese carriers, we've got a Sichuan Airlines A350-900 in one of the Panda route schemes. There's a few different ones of these with the pandas on the front on the plane doing different things, but they're all pretty similar. Next up, we've got a China Southern 787-9. And next up, a new plane in the collection that should be in one of the soon to be released Melbourne updates. We've got a Junior Airlines 787-9, and these three planes are all by Jetwings. Back here, we've got a United Airlines 787-9 by Gemini Jets. And back here is a Singapore Airlines A350-900 by Phoenix Models. Alright, now we're on the top shelf here where I keep all my Australian models. So we'll start from the back here at the largest aircraft. First up, we've got a Qantas A380 by Gemini Jets in the regular colours. Next up, we've got a Qantas 787-9 in the regular colours by Gemini Jets. Next up, another Gemini Jets, this time in the older mold they have. This is the Qantas 787-9 in the 100 years livery. And last in this row, and for the 787s, we've got the Qantas 787-9 in the Yam Dreaming livery. This is the NG models version from a few years ago. Pretty rare model up until recently, because I know AV400 and NG are releasing another new copies of this soon. But very happy to have this in my collection. And I will note when I've been on the exact plane I have a model of, which is a few cases on this Australian domestic level. So I was on this plane a couple of years ago on a flight from Sydney to Melbourne. Moving forward to the A330s, we've got a Qantas A330-200 VH-VZU. And I've been on this one a couple of times, I think, but when it was painted in the old colours, as you can see here, on a flight from Sydney to Shanghai a few years ago, and also I think a domestic hop between Melbourne and Sydney once. Next up, another A330-200. This one is Victor Hotel Echo Bravo Golf. Been on this plane on the same trip as this one actually, but coming from Beijing to Sydney. Next up, we've got VH-QPJ, the A330-300 by Gemini Jets. Oh, by the way, this is Gemini Jets. This is JC Wings. But yeah, been on this plane too on a flight from Melbourne to Singapore a couple of years ago. Next up, we'll move to the 737s. First up, we've got the Qantas 737-800 in the Menderucci scheme. I actually have been on all three of these special livery 737s, which is quite lucky, particularly with what I'm going to say after this one. But I was on this one earlier this year coming from Sydney to Queenstown. So lucky to get a ride on this. Even luckier was I got a ride on this 737-800 in the Retro Roo 2 colours. This is based on their 1950s, late 1950s, early 60s livery that was on the 707s mainly. And I was on this a couple of years ago in between Melbourne and Sydney, but the other week, unfortunately, they repainted this into the normal livery, as you can see here. So pretty sad to see this one go, but hopefully another plane in the near future gets repainted into this. Next up, we've got another Qantas 737-800, this time in the Retro Roo 1 scheme, which is based on their 1970s livery. Also been on this plane between Sydney and Melbourne. And next we have Qantas 737-800 in the regular colours, and all these 4 737s are by Gemini Jets. The one that isn't by Gemini Jets, however, is this Qantas 737-800 in the old livery. One of the interesting things about this model is that it has these split scimitar winglets, which have the new logo on it. So it's a bit of a hybrid livery. It also has the new logo on the engines here. Yeah, so I have, but good to say now that I have every Qantas 737 livery currently flying, and one that actually currently isn't if you look at Retro Roo 2. Moving on to the Qantas Link models I have all three of these are by Gemini Jets. We've got an E190, Embraer E190, a Boeing 717. This aircraft type was completely retired just last month. And we've got a Dash 8 Q200, which will be flying under these colours for the next year or two. But next, there's a couple of years from now, there's a regional Australian airline which will take this aircraft and the 2 sister ships and fly them to Lord Howe Island under their banner. But you'll be able to buy tickets on Qantas for this one. Yeah, I forgot what the airline was called, but I'll talk about it in another video for sure. But these will still be flying around for the foreseeable future. Next up, we've got 2 Virgin Australia aircraft. We've got this 737-700 by NG models here. Been on this exact aircraft, which is Victor Hotel, Victor Bravo Yankee, and it was on a flight between Brisbane and Canberra. Last, we've got this Virgin Australia 737 MAX 8. And just back here, we have a Jetstar 787-8 by Phoenix models in the old colours. Next, we have a Jetstar A321neo in the new livery. And last, we have a Jetstar A320 in the old livery, but also even older titles, Jetstar.com titles there. Anyway, so that's my collection as it stands now. Actually, there's one more plane which I'll show you in a different shot. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next Melbourne update, which should be coming in a few weeks from now, with luck. Alright, see you next time. Last plane in the collection, which I don't actually keep in the same cabinet as the rest of them, is this Ansett Australia 727. This model I've had since I was very little, maybe 6 or 7 years old. As you can see, it doesn't have landing gear, and I think I should get them replaced at some point. But it's still quite a good model, and yeah, now that truly is the end of the video, so I'll see you in the next one.